all of the memories deep within a mind that's worn. Years have passed on by, the scars have healed, though your heart's still torn. Sometimes you recall the things he said, and fear tries to take its stand. Just remember that I am here, so let me take your hand. As long as it takes, as long as it takes, I will help you just again. As long as it takes, as long as it takes, to show you love that has no end. A passion that's real will be here tomorrow. Your spirit will renew with our love that's true. I can assure you, love without condition, bringing joy is my mission. I will be here for you, this I can assure you, love without condition, bringing joy is my mission. Yeah, yeah. As long as it takes, as long as it takes.
Hello everybody. I am sorry for the delay. I actually broadcast for almost 10 minutes privately. So there was a little glitch and I thought I was broadcasting, but I wasn't. So sorry for the delay. Anyway, wishing you all blessed Ash Wednesday. I'm going to say hello to some people. I do see Dory. Dory's in the house. All right, Dorianne, it's great to see you. If you're out there, you got to say hello in the chat because I won't know you're here otherwise. So, and we may be a little slow. Let's see. Dory? Yes. Hi, Dory. Great to see you always. All right. So, yeah. Here to just answer some questions if you have any. If it's slow, we're going to just talk a little bit about next week. Next Wednesday night, going to have a dual CD release party here on YouTube starting at 7 o'clock. Going to be talking about my new Tone Poems project, as well as the re-release of the Live at the Blues Cafe CD. Actually, it's a re-release and it's remastered. And I'll tell you a little bit about what remastered means, because I know that some of you don't know what that means. So we'll talk about that. But that's next Wednesday at 7 o'clock, same place here, right on my YouTube channel. All right, I'm going to check and see if there's anybody else that I see in the chat so far. I don't see anybody but Dorianne, so you are here, Dory, and I surely appreciate it. All right. So anyway, I'm going to just talk because I can do that. Going to talk about the weather right now because we have had a substantial warm-up, and it's been very nice because where we are, we're about an hour from Pittsburgh, an hour from lovely Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it's been a brutal winter. It's been kind of cold and a lot of snow, and yeah, so I'll be glad when that is gone, and I'm going to be terrifically happy to see the first new sprouts of grass and see some new leaves on the trees and such. So, all right. So I see Mary. You're here. Good to see you. And I'm glad you're here, Mary. All right. I appreciate it very much. Oh, and I see that my wife, Kay, is here. So that's always good because I'm thrilled when she's anywhere with me. Anyway. All right. So who else is here? What's the Q&A about? Well, it's about asking questions about whatever. And if it's not too personal, I'll do my best to answer it. And there is my friend, let's see. Oh, hey, Mark. How you doing, buddy? Great to see you. Awesome. All right. Wonderful. So, yeah, the Q&A is about music, if you'd like it to be, guitar stuff, because that's my main instrument, performing, that sort of stuff. Also, recording. I write, I compose, I record, I have a studio. So if you have any questions regarding that, and also just, what's been up. So, and if you have any comments that you'd like to make or questions you would like to ask, put them in the chat, okay? All right. So let's see here. All right. I see you guys are saying hello to each other, and that is great. So anyway, yeah, I was saying that next Wednesday is a dueling CD release party. For those of you who don't know, I was out of commission for quite a while with some major health issues. And my return was really writing and recording this tone poem project. So that is going to happen next week. And also an old CD that's been remastered. Club I used to play in Pittsburgh with a bunch of great musicians. We were there for 18 years, and it was called the Blues Cafe. And going to talk about that too. Excuse me. So anyway, all right. Let's see. I got to make sure I'm not missing anybody or any questions. All right. How do you map sixth across the fretboard? Do you use caged when doing so? I am not a caged guy. So, no, I just play sixths if I want to. So I know my scales really well. So I'm not a caged guy. I don't teach the caged system. But I've been playing guitar since I was 9 years old. So I've been doing this a while and playing professionally for quite a while. All right. Let's see. Yeah, in fact, I would practice my major scales and my scales that I'm playing. I would play them in sixth if I were going to map them. That's one of I play my scales in intervals. So I'll do scales where I'm playing thirds, then fourths, then fifths, sixths, all that. Seventh, major seven, that sort of thing. All right. Let's see. Haven't seen you since. Oh, yes. That is Mark. Now I know which Mark that is. All right. Mark Poole. Mark Poole's great. He's a great musician and a wonderful teacher. And I actually played at his high school's percussion ensemble concert quite a few years. I guess it's probably been about 6 or 7 years ago, something like that. All right. All right. Next Wednesday. Yes, I hope you can make it, Mayor. It should be pretty cool. Gonna have some new stuff as well as some of the old memorabilia from the Blues Cafe going on. So, all right. All right. So, do you have any other questions? I guess I'm not sure what that handle is. Sias0? Or is that, yes, SIAS, and it looks like a 0. For some reason, my chat in my OBS is not working, so it's a little harder for me to see than I had hoped. All right, Mark. I've always loved 70s and 80s pop music so much better than today's pop music. What's your musical opinion on 70s, 80s pop music versus today's pop music? Well, there's some really good artists today. There are some great artists. Some of the stuff for me, with the lack of live musicians and that sort of stuff, I may not care for that as much. But I will say there's some great artists. But there were, man, what a fertile period that was. I'm kind of an old soul, so I grew up. My tastes are varied because of my household. I grew up with a lot of jazz, a lot of blues, and then I was into like Kiss, and I was growing up listening to Edgar Winter, Frankenstein, and I love Paul Rodgers and all these people. So I'm kind of this mixed bag, and music was very real, obviously, back then. We didn't have auto-tune, didn't have that kind of stuff going on. But I'm not going to say there aren't great artists, because there are. There's really incredible people. So I try to appreciate all of it, and I don't want to be that grumpy old guy that talks about music and says, it's not like it used to be. And it isn't in some ways, but there's still really good stuff out there. So I love what you're talking about, but I also try to appreciate the new folks too. It's a little different, that's all. All right. So what do we have? Christmas CD in the near future. Yes, that is in the works. All right. So yes, Mayor, hit the like and thumbs up. And yeah, awesome. And by the way, since I'm not getting questions so much, there are people that have asked me to put some lessons up. We had to move, so I've been getting set up for a while now. And so the lesson thing will be coming. This channel is going to have a bunch of different stuff going on. Guitar and music lessons, plus some, we'll say motivational stuff, because, if you ever struggled in this life, it gets pretty tough sometimes. So I'm going to be putting some positive stuff up there for folks to hear, and maybe a few things I learned by going through what I went through. But that's all coming. All right. Yes, Mike Myers. I have been called Mike Myers many times. So, yeah. That's been... In fact, you know what? Whatever your name is, I'm not sure what it is. If you care to share your name with me, I would love to call you by your name. But I actually looked like Wayne from Wayne's World before he existed. So it kind of, like before the whole party on thing, I looked like that guy did before he came out. So I'm probably a little bit older than Mike Myers at this point. Let's see. What else? All right. Well, you're all for the motivational speaking and lessons, my friend? Okay, yeah. Dory, that will be happening. Wayne's World. Wayne's World, Wayne's World. Actually, my old keyboard player, Tommy, and I dressed up as Garth and Wayne on a Halloween show. So it wasn't a stretch. I just had a Wayne's World hat. And I had a mullet, too. So I was ready to go. All right, who else is here? A local gig. Yeah. I'm not playing live shows right now because of the surgery I had, and I'm just not sure what's going to happen with that. And for those of you who don't know, I had to have an emergency surgery and had a 6-level cervical fusion. So I have fusion from C2 to T1, and along with those kind of surgeries comes a condition called adjacent segment disease, which is basically your discs that are above and below the surgery area take more of a beating because your biomechanics are greatly altered. So the last thing I want to do is end up in more surgery, because if anybody's had spinal surgery out there of any sort, when you get into several fused areas, it's kind of brutal. So it was a tough recovery and all that stuff. Am I a music theory guy? Yeah, I studied theory. I mean, honestly, when I play, I don't think so much of that at this point, because I'm kind of like it's good to know. I do know it. I can name all the intervals of every note that I play and all that sort of thing. And so, yeah, I'm a theory guy, but I don't really count on that when I'm playing, especially when I'm improvising, because I try to make melodies. So it's part of it. The studying is very much part of it. So I think you should know theory, but I will say this. There are people that technically didn't know any theory that were some of the greatest players that ever walked the earth, but they had their own way of organizing things. So they may not have been able to explain it to you, in the way you'd like to hear it. For instance, like Wes Montgomery. And if you don't know who he is, I suggest you check him out. One of the greatest jazz guitarists that ever walked the face of the earth. And I'm not sure he even read music. I could be wrong, but I don't believe he did. And I'm not sure he actually knew, school book theory stuff, but he knew it because you could tell the way he played. He played beautiful, swinging melodies, So, yeah, I am a theory guy, but I'm not. I mean, I learn it, I know it. When I write music, I I can, I know harmony and all that stuff, but it's really about moving people, and playing with emotion. So, and I'm going to clean it up, but Miles Davis said, basically, forget that, and I'm going to say stuff and play. That was his thing on it. So, but do study it. I think it's a great thing to know. And I think if you can read music, that's another great thing. A lot of guitar players don't read. So it's hard to communicate with other musicians if you don't know how to read and that sort of stuff. Like, I could write a chart for my band, and I could write something out for the horn player or the keyboard player, that sort of thing. So it's good to know. Anyway, let me go back here. I think I missed a couple people. Let's see. Oh, hey, Don Sabo. You like the motivational segments. Thank you very much. There's going to be more of that stuff because I'll be honest with you. After what happened, I had sepsis on top of the stuff. So it was it was touch and go for about 3 days. My poor wife had to go through a lot. And so, you don't know what you're going to have when you come out of this. And I feel like I'm still here for a reason. And whether I'm playing live shows or not, I think that I'm still here to make music and also maybe encourage other people that are going through a tough time. So thank you. I appreciate hearing that because I'll keep doing it. Let's see. All right. So anyway, that was Jeff Sandy, I believe. Jeff, you were the one that asked about local gigs. So I'm not counting them out completely, but, it's hard to say. I would love to hear from some people out there that have had some serious fusions, like multiple levels, because I know some people that have had them, and I was fortunate because my surgeon ended up being great. So I'm fully functional. I got my hand. It took a whole year, but I got everything back. I don't have numbness. I don't have tingling. I'm very blessed. It doesn't work that way for everybody, but I'm really blessed that I was. That being said, I'm not sure, if you look into it, shows, and anybody that's come to see me play know, I was a very physical player. I was out all over the place, and it's hard for me to actually play, even just seated at the house and not get into things, and you're exerting. So not that I can't do some of that, but I have to watch. So we'll see. But right now, all I can tell you is tune into my YouTube channel because you're going to hear a lot more music from me. I'm not done. I'm not done making music. I'm very grateful that I can still do that. All right. So what do we have here? Let's see. Oh, yes. Actually, again, I'm going to call you Sius or Sius Zero. Am I getting that right? Just say yes or no. I don't even know. I write a lot of music. In fact, I just wrote this thing called Tone Poems. Tone Poems to Chill By in a Sometimes Stressful World, Volume 1. And to pull myself out of the funk I was in after not being able to play for a year, and I was really depressed. I was really depressed. And it was rough. I wasn't sure what I was going to have left. If I picked up a guitar, it was awful for me. So I felt like God was with me because I felt this desire suddenly after a year to wake myself up every day at 4 a.m. And I wrote a song a day for 25 days. So the Tone Poems project is special to me because it was written at a time that I didn't think I had anything, and these songs came to me. So there's 11 out of 12 songs on this CD are new songs, and one was an old song that I wrote back in 1990-ish. I put it out on a demo that actually was a demo that I ended up releasing and got me an endorsement with a company called Evans Pickups. And so anyway, there's a song called Not Far Away that came from that, but it's a completely redone, it's a new version of it. But the rest, the other 11 songs, all new. So yes, I write a lot of music, and it's all over the place. And if you haven't been here before, I was known as a jazz blues rock guy. So the Blues Cafe CD has some original music on there. I think it's more than half of the songs are originals. Then I do some Hendrix covers too. I do Hey Joe, and I do The Wind Cries Mary, which my friend Mayor will like. So yeah, I write a lot of music, and I have for many years. And if you get a chance, I do have a link in the description of this video somewhere. My store is there, and you can check out the CDs there. I have digital downloads. I have merchandise too. But actually, too, on the YouTube channel, you'll see a couple playlists. One is from the Blues Cafe, and one is from the Tone Poem CD. And if you tune back in next week, you're going to hear me explain where those songs came from. And I'll have some longer snippets of those songs as well. So that will be next week at 7 o'clock. All right, let me get back to some questions here. Let's see. Who did I miss? Let's see. We have Mark again. Improvising. Do you feel anyone who's well-versed in their scale and mode knowledge has a bigger improvisational vocabulary than someone who doesn't know their scales and modes? Well, I will say this. The scale, okay, so theory, in my opinion, theory came from people studying people's music. It wasn't like a scale appeared, right? They started studying composers, great composers, these guys. Now, again, the scales came about, like a pentatonic scale came about a certain way, all these things. So anyway, yes, I do believe you should know them. And everything, it all starts, a major scale is you can do a whole lot knowing your major scales really well. In fact, I'm going to do a lesson for some people about, I'm going to do it's a drone study that I always recommend people do for ear training, because, as guitarist, if you're, now, Mark, I know you're not a guitarist, but guitarists, you can learn patterns. And so you get very pattern oriented. And a lot of times guitar players don't even know the notes they're actually playing. They'll just say, okay, if I'm playing an A minor pentatonic scale, that's at the 5th fret. The first position of it is at the 5th fret, but they may not even know the actual tones they're playing. My opinion is that you should know what every note sounds like. And you need to get used to like hearing what a 9th is, and what a 13th is, and what a flat 7 is, and a major 7, and every interval. So I'm going to do a little, in about a month, because I need to get my guitar stuff still set up. But I'm going to do a lesson on just playing tones over a drone note and playing scales. So yes, you should know your scales. My opinion, yes, you should. You should know them. You should know how to harmonize scales. You should know that, the chords that are relative to keys come from the scale. You know, by harmonizing a scale, you get these group of chords that belong to that key and all that stuff. So, yes, it can make you a better improviser. But again, sometimes you'll hear guys and they sound like their soloing is a scale. And I want melody, right? If you listen to a good song, and I'm going to send this out to everybody that's a non-musician. What are the things you remember when you're listening to music? You remember the lyrics, number one. And number two, you remember this great melody. So the melody is something that you're humming, you know. There's, you know, I mean, my wife knows all these songs. She's not a musician, but she knows them. She knows the melody, she knows the lyrics, and it's just from casual listening because they get in there, you know, and you get some songs are like earworms and you can't get them out. And there's some are good and some are bad, but it's usually a melody that sticks in your head, you know? So again, when I play, and I think you can listen to my stuff and you can tell that I'm not just playing scales. I play melodies. I like melodic people that play melodies. And if it's fast, there can still be melody. So yes, you should know your scales. I totally agree. You should know theory. You should know how chords are built, all that stuff. If you can study composition, if you can study orchestration, all that stuff, yes. But when it comes down to playing music for people, I have a guitar. 1 second. So if I just played a scale, I mean, if I play my solos and they sound like, that's not great. I mean, so I know that's a C major scale, but I certainly don't want to have solos that sound like that. And you can use parts of it. I mean, you can use parts of the scale, but if you play constant, you know, scaley stuff, you sound like you're playing by rote instead of playing here and playing because each note matters. So my opinion is, when you play, you got to hear yourself playing, and you know, the thing you played before is going to inspire what you play next, and so on. So, and you want to tell a story while you're doing it. So, all right. What's the guitar? That guitar behind the tan one? You mean the little guy? Is it the little guitar? That actually is a ukulele. It's an electric ukulele. So, all right. So back to some other questions. I don't want to make people that are non-musicians feel like, oh no. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, this is, okay. Your wife and you had 2 disc areas fused. She's about 6 months into the recovery. The pain down her arms like before has gone away, but she gets pain some days still. They relieve the pressure. Okay, and that's what, you know, I'm thankful because I was actually on my way to being a paraplegic. So I was losing all control of my upper body. And I hope she remains pain-free eventually. I know in my case, there's a certain amount of chronic pain. And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying with your body, once you have the biomechanics change that drastically, chances are you're going to have some other issues. So I have a bit of chronic pain all the time. And sleeping for me is the hard part through this because it's hard to get comfortable. I flop around a lot. All right. So anyway, I hope you guys do well with that. All right. Triads. Yes. Yes, behind me. Okay. So that actually, believe it or not, that is a souped up Yamaha guitar. It's I can't remember the model, but I have several of those. I actually use them when I travel because they weren't real expensive, but I knew what to do to them to get them to play well and get them to sound good. So the pickups I like. I have a mini toggle in there, all that kind of stuff. In fact, if you go to my YouTube playlist, look up me playing with a guy named Rick Braun, who's a great trumpet player, Braun. And you'll see me playing a red version of that guitar. So I used to travel with two of those on fly dates because they were hard to break. You know, the airlines never broke one. So they're actually really good. All right. Let's see here. Hey, thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate it. All right, let's see. All right. I'm looking. When you solo, what's going through your head as you improvise? For example, I have listened to your Food Court Blues solo a million times, and what really impresses me is how well that's structured. All right. So it's long story short, it's storytelling for me. Thankfully, I had a group that played a lot, and people allowed me to play guitar a lot. I mean, in fact, for those of you who know, the song that I wrote for my grandparents called Wish You Didn't Have to Go, it's probably the live version's, I don't know, 10 minutes long. I don't know. But I think, again, if you tell a story and you have a good story that has a natural rise and climax and, fall, like a good book or any kind of story, it's about emotion, So, and I also feel like this. Music is energy. Like, the thing I miss the most, I miss all of you. Anybody that's here that has been to my gigs, I miss you guys so much. Well, and I miss this because, I would put out energy, a lot of energy on a show. But guess what? It went out and then you threw it back to me, So when musicians are actually, in my opinion, when they're doing it right and when they're doing it well, and it doesn't have to be like some kind of raucous tune. It can be the prettiest ballad you ever heard. It's putting this energy out and it's received. And if it's received well and that comes back to you, that's great. So when I'm soloing, what I think is this. I throw all of the scales and all of that technical stuff out of my head, because if I think too much about it, I'm playing too heady and not here, So I try to play melodies. That's the long and short of it. I take the knowledge that I have and I'm listening. And I'm listening not just to myself. Like the stuff the people are playing around you, the band, they can influence what you play, because of what you may hear a chord voicing that the keyboard player plays, and that can inspire your idea. Or my bass player, George, I used to hear him play things all the time. He's a great bass player. And it would feed me, you know? So, but again, I always try to make it a sort of logical. And I think if you listen to this stuff, and I'm not, trust me, I'm not boasting on my playing. I'm just saying for me, when I was playing well, that it was, I'm telling a story and there's a lot of motifs, so repetitive, an idea, and the next idea is a variation, but very similar, and you're doing that sort of stuff. And it's, to be honest, it is sped up composing. So I would like my solos to be as cool as a great melody of a song. And if you notice your favorite music, usually, something starts out, the first verse is more chill, and then you have another section and sections build and all that stuff. And so the same thing with a solo. It's music. And to me, if the emotional content isn't there, you can have all the technique and the chops and the theory in the world. It may not communicate with people. So I hope that, and I think it has, because I've had people that have been following me now and seriously close to 40 years, which is it's mind-boggling to me, mind-boggling. So I appreciate all of you who have. All right, so that's the solo thing, Mark. And again, it's based on what I've learned and practiced. So trust me. I mean, I have books full of transcriptions, stuff I transcribed of some of my favorite people. And that's another thing. They're all kinds of musicians. It's not just guitar players. Piano players, I'm a big saxophone guy. I love sax players. So I grew up listening to John Coltrane and Michael Brecker and all these kind of guys. So I love that sort of thing. But again, I love simple stuff too. B.B. King. I mean, music's wonderful that way. You don't have to be a virtuoso to communicate. Like B.B. King, in my opinion, was a virtuoso because he could sing like a madman. And he had this just distinct thing, man. He had this vibrato that he used that was all him. As soon as you heard it, you're like, oh my gosh, he plays one note. I mean, one note, and the guy, you know who he is. So I don't want to simplify things too much because there's virtuosity in simplicity too. So, but it's about heart and an emotion. So anyway. How often will you practice? I practice every day that I possibly can, even to this day. When I was younger, I did a lot of 8 and 10 hour days practicing and stuff. But then as I got older and I gigged, I was playing a lot of shows. So if you're playing 6 nights a week, don't think that's not practice too, because you build up some like gig chops, and so, but I practice every day, Dory. I'm honestly, I'm an eternal learner. Music is never ending. I'll go to my grave and never know. I feel like I'm scratching the surface of everything. And that includes playing the guitar and all the stuff around it. And I love I try to keep my mind open. I love country music. The only thing I don't like is music with like a nasty message. That, for me, it just doesn't do anything for me. I got to turn it off. So otherwise, I can appreciate, I try to find what there is in every style of music to appreciate. So, all right. Unfortunately, I haven't talked to Tom in a long time, but I do speak to his wife on occasion. Mark. So yes, I haven't talked to Tommy in years, unfortunately. Okay. Let's see. Hello, Annette. All right. Let's see. I'm not sure what you meant by be disappointed. I'm not sure about that, but let me know if you can clarify that. Oh, I didn't see your question, Annette. We still have, well, we have one cat left. Unfortunately, our cat Leo passed away about a month after we moved into our house. He had a thing called pica, and I don't know if you guys know what that is or not, but humans get it. There was a show, I can't remember the name of it, but it was about people who eat strange things, and they eat dirt and plastic and, whatever, And we had a cat that had that. So we had to Leo-proof everything constantly. I mean, but he would chew up anything pretty much. So somehow he got a hold of something in July of this past year, and we rushed him to emergency surgery, and he didn't make it. He ate something, and they didn't know what it was, and he didn't make it. So we lost Leo. He was a beautiful cat. He was really unique and sweet. So we still have one cat left. Her name's Abby, and she's 16 years old now. So she's hanging in. But we love our cats. All right. Let's see here. All right. Any other questions out there? Again, next week, 7 o'clock, I'm going to be doing this CD release, dual CD release party. And I am going to be explaining why I wrote what I wrote and where they came from. And the healing power of music, because I think it is. I think music's an amazing thing. I think it's one of the greatest gifts on this earth that God gave all of us. And, I think I can't say enough. And I'm still like a little kid when it comes to music and learning. And I just get so excited when I hear people that really can do it, so. Excuse me, I need some water. All right. So what do we have here? How would you suggest one to rekindle a lost passion for playing guitar? Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Get the guitar in your hands. That's one thing. And start with just something that you used to play. I'll tell you what, here's what I want you to do. Go back and think of the very first song you ever played on your guitar. Go back to being, maybe you were young, maybe you were a kid, maybe you weren't. Maybe you were 25 years old and you heard Albert King play or whatever. Pull out that song and try to remember how it felt, because I think you will remember it. And I think that's going to inspire you to play and start practicing again. I trust me, I went through such a tough time, and I was depressed, man. I was so depressed because I had to sleep in a reclining chair for 8 months. So couldn't play, couldn't sing. I mean, couldn't do anything. And I was watching YouTube videos of, some of my heroes, and I would literally just bawl my eyes out because I couldn't do anything, But again, we all have our things to deal with, and my situation is nothing in comparison to what some people deal with on this planet. And the thing that snapped me out of it, and maybe you have heard me say this before, but I was really low. And I saw a St. Jude's commercial come on, and I really paid attention to it. And these kids, I thought, wow, man. I will preface it with this, though. I had a friend of mine say something to me that really sent me further into a funk. He said, "What did you do to bring all this negativity into your life?" And that was like pretty bad. So it really sent me into a deeper funk. And so I was in this funk, and I saw the St. Jude's commercial, and I thought, wow, these kids did nothing. So it's a fallen world, and man, bad stuff happens. It just happens. And, I've lost my brother, 2 brothers, and my mother to cancer. So, I'm still here. And if I'm still here and I'm still breathing, then I have things to do. And so do all of you, if you're still here. And some of you have it, like I said, tougher than me. But whatever you can do, whatever it is you can do it. Because if you're still here, you have something to do. And you may just inspire somebody else that you can't imagine you would have inspired. And they may look at you and go, wow, that person's amazing. So, I encourage you all, if you're struggling with anything, just if there's something you've lost and you can't do, focus on what you can, because that's what we have to do. I focused on for a while what I couldn't do, and I went nothing but down the tubes. So keep focusing on the good stuff, all right? So anyway, yeah, pull out your the first tune you ever heard that inspired you to play your guitar. Start with that. And then start with other people that you admire, that play. Okay? All right. Let's see. Thank you, Dory. I appreciate you saying that about Leo. We miss him terribly. Again, the Phrygian mode, yeah, I use it all the time. I use it all the time. And if you listen to any of the stuff I did, even on the Tone Poems things, you're going to hear a lot of, flat fives and stuff like that. And some people call it sharp 4, by the way. I just grew up calling it a flatted 5th because for me, I see, G major 7, flat 5. That's how I think of that chord. I don't call it G major 7, sharp 4, but a lot of the Lydian guys will call it a sharp 4. But yeah, I definitely know the Lydian mode. I know my modes very well, and I use them, but again, it's all tempered with melody. So you will hear parts of those in the soloing, but there's melody made from them. All right, so what do we got? Any chance of, actually, I'm calling next week a Woodshed Wednesday, Mark. And it's funny, I'm going to keep calling them Woodshed Wednesdays. There is a guy, he's a great guitar player named Andy Wood, and he does a show called The Woodshed. But I was doing the Woodshed Wednesdays as soon as, we got into the COVID thing. I was doing those. And I am going to revive them. How much performing I'll do is going to be up to how I'm feeling. But, that's a real good possibility. But I'm going to do next week as a Woodshed Wednesday, technically. All right. And I see that Dory mentioned Joe Satriani. Yeah, I'm on a CD, and you can still get it. It's called The Lords of Karma. And I was featured on it, and there's a bunch of great players. Let me think of the people. Brad Gillis from Night Ranger's on it. Jakey Lee, who played with Ozzy Osbourne's on it. Bruce Kulick, who played with Kiss, is on it. a great guitar player named Neil Zaza is on it. I was on it. I did a Steve Vai tune, and it actually was cool for me because Guitar One magazine picked it as their favorite cut on the CD, which is pretty cool. And I did get some international exposure through that CD. And in fact, I'm on 3 tribute CDs from a record company called Versailles Records. So that's called The Lords of Karma. I'm on a Bon Jovi tribute CD where I did Wanted Dead or Alive. I'm on a Tina Turner tribute CD where I did the backing music, the entire backing track. We did Rock Me Baby, the old blues. And there's a R&B singer named Michelle A. who sang. And she was at one time Suge Knight's girlfriend. That's hard to believe. So, in fact, I got an interesting phone call from the record company at the time, but I can't get into it. Anyway, if you want to check out me playing Tender Surrender, it's on that Lords of Karma CD. And you can find it on my YouTube channel, too. There's a video up. All right. Let's see. Do I map the mode by the C shape? Well, actually, I know my scales in many different ways. So I will traditionally play them. I can play them like if anybody studied the Berkeley guitar method. I did when I was a kid. So, there's a certain way they play a major scale there. Then I also do, the three note per string scales as well. So again, if I'm thinking, if I'm playing, let's just say C major 7 flat 5, right? So I'm playing that G flat, and that technically is also an F sharp. So that's in your G major scale, right? So if I start a C scale a C Lydian scale, right? If I started on C, it's going to have the same notes as your G major scale. So I really don't think that way too much because I'm at the point where I kind of just, I kind of think I'm more of a chord tone guy. That's another thing I should say about improvising. I know my chord tones real well. So you can, it's about the landing. It's like flying a plane. You fly, and then you land, and you're going to hopefully land on this good note, which is typically a chord tone, okay? All right. So, and part of it is by ear in my case because I know what a flatted fifth sounds like on a chord. So I know what a ninth sounds like. I know right away if I hear something, oh, that's the 13th of the chord. I know if it's a dominant chord or a major chord. So I can tell if there's a regular 7 or a flatted 7 or, all that stuff. So I will say this, if you're not real progressed, keep your eyes out. I will be doing that drone thing, man. And we're going to get into some things just listening to different scales over a drone and getting your ears accustomed to actually hearing what the notes are instead of just wiggling fingers in patterns, which is what a lot of guitar players tend to do because it can be pattern based. All right. Oh, you know what? Mayor, this is the mug right here. Yeah, it says play skillfully and make a joyful noise. So I don't have that on a shirt yet, but maybe I will if you'd like me to. This is this mug here. Anyway, Lords of Karma. Dory, it's called the Lords of Karma. All right. Okay. So let me ask you this. Do you have any more questions? I mean, I'll stay on here as long as I see you guys want to know anything. And it doesn't have to be about music. You can ask me, I mean, if it's too personal. If it's too personal, I can't ask. And I'm sorry if I'm looking this way a lot, but my chat is over here. So to see what you're saying, I have to look that way. You would like that on a shirt? Okay, I'll work on it. Awesome. All right. So anyway, again, if you haven't been here before, the Live at the Blues Cafe CD was recorded. It was released in 2020. Recorded live over several different live shows at the Blues Cafe. And then I took and remastered it. So remastering is, in this case, I only had the 2-track files because besides this stuff happening with my neck, my wife and I lost our house during COVID to coal mine subsidence in Pennsylvania. We woke up one day and our back wall of our foundation split in half and we started having other issues. And we had sewage backup because the pipes underneath the house crushed. And so when that happened, I lost some of my master tapes that were in boxes. They ended up like kind of cucky. Anyway, so I had the 2-track masters from the CD. So it's much improved. I fortunately now I have a lot better gear than when it was originally released. Not that it wasn't good, because people enjoyed it, and I sold a bunch of them and heard great feedback and all that stuff. But the new version is much improved, and I have some different artwork, and there's the old liner notes along with new liner notes. So 3 different drummers on that. One, my dear friend Sonny Pugar, who passed away from colon cancer, played great. I'm so thrilled that he was on it because he was well documented there. John Safara, who's a great drummer. He played with Phil Kagi. Phil Kagi's a monster guitar player. They had a group called Glass Harp, and John's just a wonderful guy, a beautiful human, and a great drummer. So he's on it. And then my dear friend Ricky Dickerson is on a tune. Another, just a great musician and a long, long time friend. And so also on that is my dear friend Curtis Swift, monster saxophone player. And I don't know if anybody knows him, but he kind of sounds like this when he talks. So Curtis is on it, and he's just a great player and one of my just dear friends. So also Tommy Salyers keyboards, George Elliott on bass and vocals, and yeah, I think I got everybody right. I think that's everybody. So anyway, and it's it's some covers and a bunch of originals, and yeah. So that's going to be next week. We're going to talk some more, and you're going to hear some of the stuff. All right. Send you that mug. Oh, Dory. So here's the deal. You can go to my website. They're print on demand. So I don't really have access to the mugs. I do the artwork and I upload them. And the company, they do the printing of the shirts, the hat. This is my record company, so they do the hats, shirts, mugs, T-shirts, sweatshirts, all that stuff. So I really don't have access to send you the mug, but anyway. All right. Let's see. Thanks, Dory. I appreciate that. I'm really sorry that you lost those. There are digital downloads available on the site as well. So it's a little cheaper to do that because the physical ones you have to have them shipped. I like physical stuff. My wife will tell you I still buy CDs, and I like physical products. But I'm old school. I used to buy albums and read all all of the liner notes, and I love the artwork. I mean, all that stuff. So, but you can get the digital downloads do come with the artwork included. So they are on there, and it's a bit cheaper to do that. And you can have them downloaded to your computer that way. All right. Ricky played on a song. I did a cover of an old song called I've Got News for You. And I'm trying to think who wrote the tune. It's in the credits. But I heard Ray Charles do it, and I'm a big Ray. In fact, it's a little blurry back there, but that's Ray Charles back there beside the guitar. I'm a big Ray Charles fan. Just love Ray Charles. So I did that tune on that CD, Mark, and Ricky played drums on it. So it's a slow blues. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. I appreciate those of you who showed up, and it's meant a lot to me, you being here. And hopefully next week, I'll see you next week, and we'll have some fun at the CD release party. And do remember this. This is where you're going to find me. I'm not out in the clubs. I'm not out playing concerts or any of that stuff right now. It's going to be all from my home. I don't have to carry gear that way. I don't have to do that sort of stuff. But I do want to keep in touch with you. So like and subscribe if you could to my YouTube channel. And I love hearing some feedback. So if you did buy CDs or get them, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Also, you can look in the description. You can join my mailing list in there too, okay? So I'm going to take off. God bless you all. Thank you. I appreciate you coming out, okay? All right, everybody. I wish you nothing but the very best.